Ah yes, Sonic Origins. Well, we finally have it, and at one point, it was almost a forgotten subject. I mean, seriously, this game is a bit of a mystery, from developing contributor Stealth of Sonic Mania fame, divulging a bit of dirt on Sega on Twitter, to the obscene length of time it took to actually getting any sort of update on this game. Do you guys realize that on May 27th of 2021, Sonic Origins was first announced? And we did not get a single piece of footage or news of this game, nary a fucking screenshot, until April 20th of this year. How appropriate, because Sega must have been pretty fucking high, nearly forgetting about this game. That's 11 months, nearly a year without an update for a compilation of old Sonic games. Yes, they weren't just mere emulations, but reworkings of those games, much like Sonic Jam on the Sega Saturn. But you know, some sort of reassurance would have been nice, a simple tweet, or, hey guys, we know you're worried that this thing is cancelled, but it's not, and we're working really hard to get it out. Yeah, it got to the point where people actually suggested it may have been cancelled because this was a really weird development cycle, especially since the Sonic 3 footage was shown in the 2021 teaser trailer, and it wasn't even in widescreen. It was in 4:3, meaning they showed off something that wasn't even started yet. It's just like the Sonic Frontiers footage. Why show off an early build? It just doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense! Okay, well, managerial incompetence aside, Sonic Origins is actually pretty cool, and I do like it. But it could be better in many ways. For those who are not aware of exactly what Sonic Origins is all about, it is a compilation of all the mainline Sonic games from the classic era. Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles, and CD, each of which has widescreen support and new save system, dazzling animated cutscenes to begin and end each game. There's boss rushes for each game in which you're only given 3 lives to run through all the bosses, a mission mode which I really like, as well as an unlockable mirror mode which flips the stages of each game, in addition to a museum mode which is full of music, art, and videos. So let's dig a little deeper and see exactly how well Sonic Origins acts as a definitive collection of Sonic games in a gaming world full of countless Sonic collections. So what sets it apart? So when you turn the game on, you're greeted by this phenomenal, and I do mean phenomenal looking intro that we saw a part of in the trailer, and it's by famed Sonic Mania animator and IDW Sonic comic book cover artist Tyson Hesse. Just a spectacularly animated intro that is so fluid and colorful, it's just a work of art. Next you'll see we have a series of islands in the background and the menus for the games, and I do like these menus. And you do have the ability to zoom in on these islands and look at all the character animations and activity on them from all the badniks and characters. Well, granted, you ponied up the extra $5 for the deluxe edition to be able to have the illustrious honor of zooming in on the islands. Oh,
he's a real fancy boy!
I and many others thought the Island Tour feature was going to be a full 360 tour of these islands, being able to rotate the islands and view them from all angles. But there's really no tour, just a zoom function, and when you select an island from this menu, you can see a top-down view of it. I like how when you progress through Sonic CD and Sonic 3, you will get swappable island choices. For Sonic CD, you can either have little planet chained to the landscape or not. And for Sonic 3, you can have the island raised or lowered into the ocean with the Death Egg stuck in Lava Reef Zone, and a third one with the island lowered and the Death Egg is at Launch Base Zone. Strangely enough, Knuckles is nowhere to be seen anywhere on these islands. It would have been cool to see his eyes in the bushes like on the Sonic 3 box art, but I have to say, I like these menus, and they add tons of personality. And though the game does not exude that chillness factor of the Sonic Mega Collection's menus, there's certainly a lot more effort on display here. Looking through the museum, you'll see all the content I mentioned before, but honestly, there's really not a lot of new stuff here. You can complete certain tasks to unlock certain things and use coins that you will collect by playing the games and completing missions in the mission mode, which I'll go into depth on a little bit later. But there's videos of the Sonic Symphony, the Sonic Mania Adventures, which are already on YouTube, and being able to view the individual cutscenes. The illustrations have some cool concept art, and there's even the Harmony art from the Sonic screensaver for the PC. But man, no interviews, no commercials, no classic cartoons. There's some IDW Sonic covers, but remember Sonic Mega Collection? They had just about all the Archie Sonic comic covers and even let you read through the entire Sonic Firsts comic compilation. There's a lot of music here from the various games, but for me, I've got all this stuff on a massive playlist on my phone, and this feature is not a very big plus for me. Strangely enough, the tracks names for Knuckles Chaotix are all mixed up. They're all wrong, so yeah, there should have been a lot more, and if we're going to have music, why not give us some new remixes? Everything here has already been released. Overall, there's just not a lot of stuff in here to go back to once you've already looked at everything. So what are the games themselves? Well, you can either pick to play through the 4 titles via a story mode, which will present to you one game after another, including the gorgeous cutscenes that sandwich each game, including the original animated Sonic CD cutscenes. This is how I chose to experience the game. The only downside is anyone looking to play through these games as Tails or Knuckles won't be able to do so. Once you reach Sonic 2, you will be able to have Tails at your side. To tell you the truth, we already knew that CD took place before Sonic 2, but it's kind of surreal to see the game being featured chronologically, because I always viewed CD to be a side game and not really a mainline entry, much in the vein of 3D Blast or Knuckles Chaotix. However, if the story mode doesn't tickle your fancy, you can either choose to play through the games individually with each game's anniversary mode, which will give you the new versions of the games presented in widescreen, the drop dash from Sonic Mania, and one of my favorite features, the implementation of the coin system, which does away with lives, and you can use coins to retry the special stages, which is a big, massive, and I do mean massive, help in nightmarishly challenging Sonic 2 special stages, as well as the added visibility and the far smoother frame rate. In fact, look at the Sonic 1 special stages and the beautiful fluidity of those as well. It's not as noticeable in Sonic 3's, however, but it definitely is smoother without a doubt. So it was a pleasure to finally be able to play as Super Sonic in Sonic 2, which was something that was impossible to me as a kid without using the cheat code in the sound test. I managed to get him by Casino Night Zone, so I can now enjoy playing as him for half the game. Plus you get the Tails flying assist that was in Sonic Mania, so Tails can now carry Sonic whenever you want. I will admit that this does get rather clumsy when you're using the Insta Shield in Sonic 3 and you accidentally use the flying ability when you don't want to, but a rather small gripe. You can take Tails and Knuckles through Sonic 1 like in the mobile ports, and Tails can go through Sonic CD like in the HD port released back in 2011, but strangely enough, not Knuckles. Now, I've been seeing people making excuses for this, saying that Knuckles wouldn't fit into the story, but come on, Tails is here too, and he doesn't either, especially when the opening and closing cutscenes don't involve him at all. Let's be honest, Sonic Team didn't want to put him in because this remaster was already done and they didn't want to change anything in the actual game besides implementing the coin system. But anyway, I really like the added title screens for Sonic 1 when you select Tails or Knuckles, adding to the authenticity of the playthrough instead of just making it feel like a tacked on sprite swap. And yes, I know this was in the mobile port, but I still like it a lot. But many people voice their concern that the live system was not available with the widescreen support, and I think this is pretty unacceptable as well. Not that it bothers me so much, because although the old school challenge of losing all your lives and continues resulted in sending you back to the beginning of the game in Sonic 1 and 2, it was pretty pointless in Sonic 3. But the option would have been nice, and how hard could it have been to simply implement it as an option? Classic mode will still leave you with the ability to spin dash in Sonic 1 unless you enter the level select code and decide to turn it off, which can be done in the anniversary mode or classic mode. Why not just make it an option in the options menu without the need for the code to be entered? Seems rather silly to me. However, this level select does also allow for the implementation of some of Sonic 1's less flattering features, such as the infamous spike glitch and speed cap. Plus, you can turn on the ability to obtain a 7th Chaos Emerald through an extra special stage, giving you the ability to become Supersonic, which strangely enough isn't in the anniversary mode despite it being in the mobile port of the game by default. Plus, it's always weird that there is suddenly an extra Chaos Emerald in Sonic 2, so having the 7th Emerald in Sonic 1 makes perfect sense. But either Sega or Sonic Team had Tyson Hess put only 6 emeralds in the closing cutscene of Sonic 1, but then the 7th emerald just magically appears out of nowhere and joins the other 6. I just find that so weird that they could have easily retconned the confusion, and I would have been all for it. Speaking of emeralds, one big change is Tails now has the ability to transform by just collecting the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic 3. For some weird ass reason, Tails had to go the extra mile and collect the Super Emeralds in the original version of the game to transform, while Sonic and Knuckles didn't, and in fact would get hyper forms when they collected the Super Emeralds, leaving Tails to look like an inferior clown in the process. So thankfully they remedied this by now giving him a flickyless super form, but they didn't add the form into Sonic 2 for some odd reason. But then again, this certainly is a collection of missed opportunities. Now, in terms of the quality of the games themselves, the games look crisp and nice. The frame rate and fluidity of everything is spectacular when compared to the originals. And I'm not really noticing any color problems that some people have reported. The controls feel extra sharp and responsive, and it's no doubt in part due to the reworking of the engine and them not simply being ports. There's zero lag, no slowdown, and just a genuinely great looking experience. It's crazy seeing the competitive stages in Sonic 3 in full screen. No, I didn't actually play against anyone, but just running through these stages for a change without the super pixelated visuals in the original game was a true sight to behold. Plus, this was my first time going through the Hidden Palace Zone that was first featured in the mobile port. I never played the mobile ports, and this certainly is a level worth having here. I couldn't go back to not having it. I love the aesthetic and the design. It was a lot of fun to explore, plus it's entirely optional. If you rather keep the Sonic 2 experience purely traditional, then avoid the infamous pit in Mystic Cave Zone. Usually there would be spikes here and you couldn't escape until Sweet Death arrived, but now it's actually a rather large positive instead of a death-causing negative. Too bad they couldn't go back and finish off Wood Zone, since assets for that level were created, but it was just never finished, much like Hidden Palace once was. So there's quite a bit of positives, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention the cavalcade of new problems that have arisen in the form of bugs and glitches. And quite frankly, they're not even random. In Marble Garden Zone, this drill will cause endlessly falling debris in Sonic 3 that doesn't stop falling unless you hit a checkpoint and then restart or die. It's supposed to stop after a few seconds, but nope, it just keeps falling even when you're not even underneath any of the structures. And this happened every time I encountered the drill, meaning that when I restarted the entire level in story mode and when I played through the game again as Tails. If they play tested the zone, they would have noticed this. Also, in Mushroom Hill Zone, these spiked ball obstacles during the fight with Eggman are a weird ass shade of white. It's actually rather unsettling, almost looking like this was a testing asset of some sort. But once I restart, wouldn't you know it, they're still the same color. And there's a mission in the game that involves this same section, and it still looks like this. Also, probably the biggest of all the glitches, and the most complained about, is Tails' complete and utter retarded beyond belief AI in Sonic 2. He is downright suicidal, and he will easily find himself off screen, which was not at all uncommon in Sonic 2, but not like this. You'll have to listen to the infernal death sound effect over and over as Tails kills himself off screen. You might also hear the ludicrously annoying jumping sound effect as Tails tries to mercilessly drive you insane as he tries to overcome his unknown predicament. Dear Lord, can someone patch this shit already? Okay guys, yes, Sonic Team, I'm talking to you. Now, you're probably not even watching this shitty video, but damn it guys, there's no way in hell you play tested this, because unless you were high, there's no way this would have passed. I mean, I can see glitches that occur infrequently or by some strange happenstance from time to time, but we're talking about brutally obvious and constant bugs that plague the experience. Now, this may not be anything to ruin the game, and if you're one of the people saying this, then please save the melodramatics for something that actually sucks, like the latest Marvel movie or something, because it's not game-breaking. But I will say, they are rather inexcusable, even though you can easily reset Tails by using the flight assist controls. It won't be long before that two-tailed ignoramus finds himself stuck again. Plus, the other glitches are just sloppy. I mean, the falling debris is literally littering the screen. So unless you're just not looking at the screen, it's impossible to not notice. And these white balls, I mean, come on. This is just hideous looking. But besides that, the games are perfectly playable, and they're still some of the greatest games of all time, and seeing them all in widescreen is a feast for the eyes. Now we need to address another elephant in the room, and that's the music. So Sega and everyone was conveniently avoiding the fact that Michael Jackson's compositions made it into the game throughout the years. There was a brief mention in Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection in the museum section saying that Jackson was going to originally work on the game's music, but doesn't actually say he ended up doing so. And Brad Buxer, who worked closely with Michael, confirmed it in an interview.
I go knock on his door, and I had under my arm a cassette player. I had been doing all the Sega Sonic the Hedgehog cues, because the way Michael works is he'll tell Sega he'll do it, and then he says, Brad, you do it, right? So I think we did one cue together with Michael, one, and the rest I had to do it myself. So I had the cassette thing on I had 41 cues done, and I said, I'm sure you want to hear the Sonic the Hedgehog. He said no.
No official statement by Sega higher-ups was ever confirmed. Then Yuji Naka comes along on Twitter and puts the rumors to rest that he did in fact contribute to the music, and Sonic 3 wasn't being released on any of the Genesis collections and not put on any digital stores aside from the one on Steam. Well, during a live stream, a member of Sega let the cat out of the bag that not all the original music was going to be put into the game, but instead the prototype music for certain stages were going to be reworked by famed Sonic music composer Jun Sonoe. Right way, any self-respecting Sonic fan who knows about the situation knew that Carnival Night, Ice Cap, and Launch Base Zone were all goners, just like back in the Sonic & Knuckles collection for PC. How the hell did they not get this music situation under control by now? It's truly fucking astounding to me that a collection of 16-bit chiptunes are that hard to get ownership of. Who exactly owns this music? Is it because of Michael Jackson? Once again, Sega is silent. Any of you so-called video game journalists care to get off your collective asses and do your jobs and find out? I mean, how is this mystery so mysterious still? But yeah. Anyway, the music that is reworked is okay. Ice Cap has grown on me over the years, but out of all the replaced themes, the original Ice Cap missing hurts the most because it truly was one of my favorite pieces of music in the classic series. The remake here is very similar to that of the original prototype. I'm not a fan of Carnival Night Act 1's original prototype music, and the remake isn't that great either. However, Act 2 is good, but this new version is not quite as good, but it's not horrible either. The original is definitely better. I think a strong case can be made for the remake of the Launch Base Act 1 music being superior. Also, it's cool that they added a new tune for Super Sonic instead of just constantly looping the invincibility theme over and over. Overall, I think they should have just left the prototype music as is, but the music isn't as horrible as everyone is making it out to be. Now, I really haven't heard enough people talk about the mission mode feature in this game, and I'm a little disappointed that this great feature is being ignored. There's some really great fun and challenging missions here featuring rearranged and remixed level assets including bosses and traps. There's a time limit and you will be graded on your performance. These challenges can be anything from collecting a certain amount of rings to defeating a certain amount of enemies or just simply reaching the goal. Remember this boss battle from Sonic 1 in Starlight Zone? Well, how about finding him without a floor underneath you? Remember how much you hate the water in Chemical Plant Zone? Well, how about testing your abilities with Tails using his swimming abilities to swim through it while avoiding hazards and drowning? This rematch against the Eggman boss fight in Chemical Plant Zone is especially hilarious with the trolling pull away when you try to land a hit when he's not sucking up chemicals. Eggman actually pulls away from an attack. It really took me by surprise, and I like these kind of curveballs in my Sonic games. I particularly liked how they repurposed Eggman's bomber plane from Sonic 3, and instead this time it drops enemies, and you have to defeat 10 of them while you're auto-scrolling. Plus, I like this mirrored version of the wall chase from Hydro City Act 2, where you have to get all the rings in order to get the S rank. The extreme challenges are especially well done, and I had a hell of a time completing this one with Knuckles using assets from the Death Egg Zone. It proves a pretty precise platforming challenge. For longtime fans of these classics such as myself, it's really cool to be challenged by using tactics and gameplay mechanics that you've grown accustomed to by playing the main games. Definitely a cool feature, and I absolutely love it. I think they were a little bit cheap with only having 3 extreme missions for each game with the DLC, so I really hope they add on to it in the future. And of course, there's one glitched mission, and that's the one called Ring Vacuum. In this stage, you use the Thunder Shield to suck in rings, but for some reason the double jump ability that the shield grants you is very unresponsive and seems to only function when it feels like it. It seems to work better if you don't hold the direction on the control stick while jumping. Again, how was this missed? But anyway, I can't really be too mad because I really do enjoy mission mode. There's so many great missions here, there's so many fun and challenging ones. And I think you should really give this mode a whirl. I don't know if this would really decide your purchase on this game, but I think it's really a worthwhile mode and definitely deserves to be expanded upon with DLC. Overall, Sonic Origins was fun to play, but I do agree that this could have been so much more. I understand the need to focus on the mainline games, but when previous collections have given us so many more games, this collection does feel a bit scarce. The missions and cutscenes were massive pluses for me, but I feel like there could have been even more. Perhaps cutscenes to open and close every zone? I get it that animation is expensive, but can Sega not pony up a bit more dough to Tyson Hess in order to make the collection really stand heads and shoulders above the rest? I think they can afford it. I get that these games are remastered and retooled, but there are a host of issues that are very clear and present, especially the AI problems with Tails and releasing the game with the number of evident glitches present. I like this package overall, but I think some of the complaints are definitely warranted. Should you buy this game? Well, I think that depends how important some of these things we talked about today are to you as a Sonic fan. Honestly, these versions of the games feel far too definitive for me ever to go back to the older versions, but if you're looking for a package bursting with extras, this is definitely not the best effort possible. So guys, let me know what you think down in the comments. Are you disappointed by this collection, or was it everything that you hoped it could have been? Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bells to get all notifications when I post all my new videos. Click the like button if you enjoyed the video, and click the dislike button if you fucking hated it. And I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support. And thanks again, guys. I will see you next time.